On today's video I want to talk about breeding fish, and in particular on this video about breeding the Betta fish. So basically you'll hear a lot, especially if you're a beginner fish breeder, on conditioning fish. So what does conditioning mean, and how will that help you breed the fish in the overall project that you've got going on? So I hear it a lot in videos. If you are a seasoned breeder, then this video is probably not for you. It's more for the newcomer to the hobby. Basically what it is with conditioning fish, when you buy the fish from the store, they might not be at sexual maturity yet, and also they've just been fed like a flake food in the shops to maintain the health while they live in the shops. So if you wanted to get them to breed, you have to up your game a little bit on the health front. So you want to be keeping them in a real nice fresh water tank. Make sure the water's really clean all the time, and you want to up the feeding quite a lot as well, especially if you're doing the Betta fish. So what I usually do is I usually feed twice a day for the fish in particular, which is the Betta Splendid. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I've actually got a pair breeding in the tank beside me just here, and I'm going to show you sort of step-by-step ways and how to set up a breeding tank in your home or your fish rooms like we've got here. And basically what we want to look at is the full process. As a new sort of fish breeder, you might hear terms like getting the fish ready for spawning, and how to do that is you want to up the feeding game. So you want to be feeding them a lot more than usual, high protein diet. You don't want to go too heavy on certain foods like bloodworms. You want to sort of mix the diet up a little. What I usually do is I'll feed twice a day, so I'll feed bloodworms at least once in the morning or evening, and then I'll use a high protein pellet then as well later on in the day or early in the morning. And what that does is, because the food's there, the females will get plumper and fatter, they'll produce more eggs, and also the males will grow quicker, so they'll get to sexual maturity if they're not there already. And this will help the spawning activity when you put the male and female together in the breeding tanks. So what you want to do is you want to feed quite heavily, I'd say for about 3 or 4 weeks. That's a good sort of time scale to get the fish ready once you've got them out of the store. Young Bettas usually breed a little easier as well, so if you can try and get a younger pair, but obviously at the sexual maturity age, so not too young. You don't want a fish this size. You want a fish that's adult size, but not too old. That's usually the best way to do that. And what you want to do, what you want to look for is on the female, just below her pectoral fins, you'll see a little white dot. Some people mistake that for ick in Betta fish, but it's actually the egg spot. That's what we call it when you're breeding. And once you notice a little white egg spot, that means that the female's at sexual maturity and she's ready to breed at that point. So that's a good indicator for the females. Unfortunately with the males it's a bit harder to judge, but if you've sort of got a male that's a similar size to the female at sexual maturity, usually 9 times out of 10 they'll be compatible to breed. So once you've got the fish together like that, you want to keep them apart obviously, until you are at the point where you want to set up a breeding tank or box or bucket, or whichever way you want to do it. You can do it quite easily with Betta fish. I've just got a small container or tote just to breed them in. So I'll probably whip the camera around and I'll show you how I've set this up. Like I say, these fish are actually spawning at the moment just beside me here, so I don't want to disturb them too much, but I'll give you a bit of an idea of how we set up the tank, and then you guys can set up your own at home. I would say if you are going to breed Betta fish, I'd keep them in the high 20s. So you want to be about 80 Fahrenheit, 26, 27 degrees. You want to keep them quite warm when you put them into the breeding tank. That usually helps with the spawning activity. Also low pH. If you are from a higher pH area, so above 7.5, you can use stuff like Indian almond leaves. That'll bring the pH down. You can use bogwood. If you put the bogwood in, wait till the water turns like that browny colour, the tinted colour like tea, and that means that the tannins are in the water. This will help with a lot of things. When Bettas breed, they're quite rough with each other, so they can get sort of marked up, and the Indian almond leaf in particular and the tannins, it'll help to repair the fish while they're sort of in the motions, as you were. So we'll have a look at the tank at the side of us here, and hopefully you guys will stick with us till the end of the video. If you have any questions or anything, you can leave a comment in the comment section below. I usually get back to people pretty quickly. But it's a pretty straightforward fish to breed, this one, until the eggs hatch out. But we'll show that in the video towards the end, until we get to the free swimming fry, and then hopefully you guys will be successful too. So guys, this is the setup that I've done for my Betta breeding project. So this is just a plastic tote, I'd guess roughly about 20 to 30 litres. So I've got a heater just here. There's no aeration in there whatsoever. Betta fish can breathe from the surface, so that's what I'm utilising here when I do this project. What I've done is I've just put a little piece of polystyrene. I've only got polystyrene in there because I didn't have any bubble wrap, but most people use like a little square of bubble wrap, you know, sort of about 4 centimetres by 4 centimetres by 4 centimetres. And what that gives the male Betta, it gives him somewhere to do his bubble nest. So you can just see he's underneath now, and you can see the bubble nest. He makes all these bubbles around underneath the polystyrene there, or styrofoam. You can just see the female here. So what's been happening over the last couple of hours is the males managed to get the female to go underneath the bubble nest and done something called the embrace. And basically what that means is the male Betta has wrapped himself around the female Betta and squeezed her. She drops the eggs and he fertilises her. So the eggs will float down then onto the bottom. It's a lot easier to do this as well if you're using a bare bottom tank. So as you can see, I've got no substrate in here. It's a very temporary thing for the fish. Now the eggs are here, the female can be removed. So as you can see, I've got an Indian almond leaf, loads of tannins. It's about 6.5 pH now, the water. I do have it at 80 Fahrenheit, so it's quite a warm tank to the touch. You can see the bubble nest just here. They've been spawning most of today. So if you look just underneath the styrofoam there, if you'll let us, you'll notice the really white bubbles, which are just sort of here and around the edge. And if you look just underneath the styrofoam there, the darker patch, that's where he's been collecting the eggs. So as she drops them, they'll fall down to the bottom. And this is why we do it quite shallow, to preserve the energy of the male Betta fish mainly. Because as she drops the eggs, he'll swim down, pick them up, and he'll pop them in the bubble nest just above there. And what will happen now is the male will look after the eggs in the bubble nest. So if any fall down, he'll come down to the bottom, pick them up, and he'll take them back up. And you can see he's getting quite frustrated with my finger there because he's guarding the nest. So I won't bother him too much. Now the female's at this side of the tank. You can see she's come away from the bubble nest. They've been spawning most of today. This is the time now when the eggs are in the bubble nest, the male's defending it. This is the time to remove the female. So she's done her job. He's going to try and keep her away now at this point from the bubble nest. So if you remove the female, and then these will take about 3 days to hatch. I do have a little bit of the video of them doing the embrace, and I'll put that over now just to show you guys sort of what to expect. It does look quite brutal towards the female. As you can see there, she's staying well back, and he's just guarding the nest now, and he'll just continue to do that until the eggs hatch, which will be in about 3 days, depending on the temperature, usually 2 to 3 days. And you'll just see little tails dangling down from the eggs, and eventually they'll be free swimming. At that point, we can change how we do the rearing of the fry. So I'll probably pull out the male, because 9 times out of 10 the male can eat the fry. They can look after him for a short while they're free swimming, but I'll turn this tank then into a full hatchery basically. I'll remove the male once I see the fry swimming around. I'll remove the female now. I'll remove the male then once they hatch out, and then I'll get back on the video with you guys. So it should be around 3 days for me, but about 2 seconds for you guys. And what I'll do is I'll put a little air stone in, real slow flow, and then I'll start feeding these guys up, and you'll see that at the end of the video. So it's been about a day, guys. As you can see, I've removed the female now. She's gone back into the community aquarium where she'll get fed up again. You know, we'll make sure she's taken care of. Loads of food now, get her energy back up, and just repair basically from the breeding process. What I'm going to do is now for the next 2 days is I'm going to leave the male Betta in here, and eventually where the bubble nest is, you'll just see the tails from the wigglers dangling down from the nest. And we're looking now at this point, basically just to keep the water parameters steady. You don't want to really knock the surface, because if you pop all the bubbles for the bubble nest, all the eggs will drop and he'll have to do all the work again. And obviously he's tired from the whole process as well. So you want to do as much surface, as little surface agitation as you can. So this is totally still, this water. Tannins are still in. Once the wigglers are free swimming, what I tend to do is I'll drop the water down to about here, being careful not to siphon any of the fry in. And I'll just top him up a little bit with some clean water, because it'll have been about sort of 3 days with no aeration or water changes or anything like that. So I want to get the water really clean for the fry. And then what we'll do at that point is then we'll start to feed the fry. I usually use Zakari first bites. You can use vinegar eels. I also culture white worms as well, so water worms. They're really good just to get the fry going. Then after about a week or so on them, we'll start to feed them baby brine shrimp. So we'll leave them for now. I'll come back in about 3 days when the wigglers are free swimming, and we'll continue the video. So then guys, we're down to free swimming fry now. It's about day 3. I've just got the male in the net just here. He's in the water, so he's fine. We've got some free swimming fry now. So they've hatched out. You can just see one just on screen there, just in the centre. And also some just down the bottom. Just one there, look, just in the centre of the screen. You can just see them 2 little eyes. These guys are darting about all over the place now. So I'm going to pull the male probably now, and this is going to be the last part of this video. What I'll do is I'm going to make this into parts. So obviously we've shown that we can do the breeding project in a small container just like this one. I'm going to remove the male, but I'm going to do on the next video, probably next week, I'm going to show you how to set up this little tank, tote, whatever you want to call it. And this will be a good project for anyone that wants to get into breeding fish. Betta fish is quite easy to breed. There's not many fry this time. We had about 100 last time. They're the ones that we sold that were growing up in this tank just here. But we've got the blue rainbows in there just at the moment. And we're going to obviously grow these out, and by the time the Betta fish have moved from that container to this one and grown out a little bit more, these will be sold, and then they'll be able to grow out into this tank then. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Like I said, I'm going to make another part 2 of this series probably next week, just how to set up this tote, how to get your water parameters correct. There's a bit of a knack to doing the Betta fish, so you use something like this to segregate the female, and then what you do is over a couple of hours you introduce them to each other, but I'll show you all that in the next video. So hopefully you guys are well, you're having an awesome weekend, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.